Hey guys, thanks for stopping by on the video. If you like what you see, make sure you hit that like button and comment down below what I can improve on. Alright guys, let's get into it. In 2012, after the Chitauri invasion, Loki is brought before Odin, in shackles. Odin gives Loki a life sentence in prison for his crimes against humanity, promising him that Thor will be made king one day after he's cleaned up the damage Loki has caused. 1 year later, in Vanaheim, home of the Vanir, Thor alongside warriors Fandral, Vastag, Hogun, and Sif fight against the Marauders, a ragtag group of invaders that have been systematically terrorizing the 9 realms for the past 2 years. Thor, showing up in the nick of time, and his friends win the battle. The Asgardians return to Asgard via the Bifrost Bridge, which was repaired by the power of the Tesseract when it was returned to Asgard in its rightful place. Back on Earth, Jane Foster's in London, having been called there by Eric Selvage to investigate readings of unknown nature. After not hearing from Thor for some time, Jane goes on a date with a man called Richard Madison. Their date is quickly interrupted by Darcy Lewis, who explains that Foster's scientific equipment has been picking up strange signals that have not been detected since the event that took place in Mexico 2 years prior. They get in a car and drive to where the signal is coming from, which happened to be an abandoned storage house. They find that a number of portals have been opened, linking Earth to several different worlds, altering the laws of physics. While Lewis and her assistant continue to play around with the portals, Foster is swallowed up by one of them and is transported to an unknown planet. She finds herself in a dark chasm where a strange vault is located. Upon touching the vault, a red substance, the ether, emerges from it. This infects Jane's body, causing her to pass out and be transported back to Earth. Happening around the same time, Stark is meeting with Rhodes for dinner, and the two discuss the Mandarin. Rhodes reveals that there have been more bombings than have been reported on the news. Rhodes insists Stark not get involved. The discussion is interrupted when 2 children ask Stark to sign a drawing of him carrying a nuke. The image puts Stark on edge. When one of the kids asks how Stark escaped, Stark has a severe panic attack. That night, Stark has a nightmare about his near-death experience, causing one of his suits to nearly attack Pepper Potts. After admitting Stark has an issue after the Battle of New York, the situation becomes worse when Pepper is visited by Killian, who happens to be her love interest. Happy Hogan, who has been promoted to Stark Industries head of security, becomes suspicious of Killian's bodyguard and investigates him at a Chinese theater. There, he witnesses a man unexpectedly combust, causing Happy to end up in LA Mercy Hospital. Later, Stark visits the hospital and sees Happy and is angered. When leaving the hospital after visiting Happy, Stark is berated by reporters. A pointed question by a reporter causes a ferocious Stark to make an impromptu statement towards the Mandarin, promising revenge and giving him his home address as a challenge. Later, Stark is unexpectedly visited by Henson, and at the same time is attacked, causing massive damage and destruction to Stark's home. Stark, having quick judgment, armors up Pepper Potts with his prototype new Iron Man suit. It flies on her and protects her from damage, rubble, and destruction, while he is knocked out. Awakening moments later, Stark is taken in and confused by the destruction of his house, realizing that he might have made a mistake. He's then saved by Pepper Potts in the prototype Iron Man suit, and reminds him that she's there to protect him as well. With the fight not being over and the remaining fleet firing their remaining powerful rockets, Pepper Potts attempts to escape, but the prototype has issues. She still manages to get out of the building, not with damages to her and the person she's trying to save. With Stark's house being destroyed and dismantled, he's thrown off. At the edge of his wit, Stark calls his Iron Man suit from Potts, and with the fly of motion, the suit comes off of her and flies towards Stark to save his life so that he may armor up and be known as our one and only Iron Man. As Stark is suiting up, there's gunfire everywhere. He manages to dodge all of the gunfire and suits up so that he can fight back and have a way to win. With Stark armored up and ready to go, he attempts to fight back, but they outgun him and outmatch him, as Stark's suit is a prototype, so his power levels are drained as it was used on Potts before. Through the gunfire and destruction, Stark manages to come up with an idea that if he can't fire the rocket, he might as well throw the rocket. So, Stark, being smart, launches and opens a way to destroy one helicopter. With 2 helicopters remaining, Stark had an idea, and he thought he should use the rocket that he couldn't fire and get rid and retaliate and fight back. With Stark moving his position to get a better vantage point, he runs over to the window, shifts the rocket off, and throws it, yanking it, giving them a taste of their own medicine to see how they can take on Iron Man, knowing they were wrong. With Stark successfully destroying the fleet of helicopters with a mission and job that he thought would be completed, he's baffled when the helicopter crashes into his house, completely destroying it and burying him with the rubble, having the world think and believe that Iron Man and Tony Stark is dead and gone for good. Here we are at the end. If you missed the last episode, it's right here. Just click it. And I got that Marvel update for you. I do them all the time. Click the link in my bio to go to my other pages. I'll be working on these, but it's a lot. I appreciate it. Alright guys, peace.